utilizing third-party warehouses. I'm hoping the biggest takeaway from our presentation is so that you have a better understanding of how we can streamline your order processing through EDI with a third-party warehouse. So you'll hear third-party warehouses, or 3PLs is what they are referred to. And third-party warehouses or 3PLs are a critical component of your business relationship with your customer, and they must meet your trading partner's business requirements and support those processes with technical capabilities. To meet these operation requirements, your 3PL or warehouse needs to be able to receive orders, receive order information with detail about what to ship. They must also be able to, pick, pack, ship your orders to the trading partner's requirements and specifications. Communicate that shipment information back to you so that you can create, your ASNs, manage your inventory, and providing the correct tracking information that needs to be on the advanced ship notice. Now, in best practices, when you're doing EDI with a third-party warehouse, we try to recommend that you do the ASNs through your company and not the third-party warehouse. Those of you that do utilize an ASN, you know that it's the most expensive document out there in regards to if the information is not correct on those ASNs that has been shipped to your trading partner, those orders can be bumped back and have a nice fee attached to it. Now that fee goes to you and not to the warehouse. The warehouse is just doing the shipping processes. So we always try to understand exactly who's responsible for which documents that you're going to be sending. What we have found out when we were talking to our customers who are getting involved with third-party warehouses, there's like 3 different categories. There's, none, partial, and full, meaning none is that you're sending orders to the warehouse via faxes, via emails, sending them big files, and they've got limited resources to send all the shipping information back you need in order to create any kind of document going to your trading partners. Then there's the partial, and some of those warehouses have web portals that they can go to and upload all the shipping information. You can go to that web portal and pull that information, and you're still doing some manual intervention. Then there are 3PLs that are fully capable, meaning they have worked with some of your trading partners or retailers in the past where they have those requirements, where the way that we recommend is that there are 2 warehouse documents within EDI. And once you have received the orders from your trading partners, you're going to be generating a 940 to send to the warehouse, and that has all the information to do, your pick, pack, shipping. And then as soon as that order has shipped, the warehouse has the capabilities of including all of your tracking information, your shipping, boxes, crates, pallets, whatever you are shipping, and that data gets flowed back into your system on a 945. You either create the ASN and ship that to the trading partner, and then you're able to create your invoices. So there we go. We're sending the 850s are going into the data. And if my thing is not working, there we go. So as soon as the orders have gone in, and you've created those sales orders, you're going to be sending a 940 out. Now the globe in the center is literally the translator. We work with multiple translators with our EDI product. We work with services as well, like the SPS Commerces and the DI Centrals. Like I said, we work with other different types of translators, Quality, SoftShare, Trusted Link for Windows are just a few that we have worked with in the past. So you send that 940 in, it gets communicated and translated, gets sent to the warehouse. The warehouse will send back that 945, and you'll process the information back into your Sage product, and then you're ready to based on all the information is correct and everything on the 945, we're able to create that ASN shipping out. And once that ASN is shipped, and you can send out the invoices right back out to your trading partner. And then web forms. Web forms is, this is what I was saying, if they have a partial communications, is where you can log on and the data is still kind of, you still have a manual intervention where you've got to pick up that information. So at this point, I'm actually going to send this over to Bill, and Bill will be able to really kind of show you how it flows within Mapadoc and Sage at the same time.
Thanks, Helene. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Like Helene said, my name is Bill Gost. I work as a sales engineer here on the Mapadoc team. I hope you can all see my screen. Today is really geared for walking you through what the typical cycle with a 3PL looks like through Mapadoc. But I think to really give you an understanding, what I'll do is I'm going to start off with actually bringing in POs. So you can actually see the POs coming through Mapadoc, because sending out the warehouse documents through Mapadoc is all based off the sales order. So if I don't have a sales order to show you, there's really no, it's going to be difficult for you to see how it flows very nicely through the Mapadoc solution. And so if you're not familiar with the Mapadoc solution, Mapadoc is the fully integrated solution into Sage, fully embedded into the Sage ERP platform. So probably the simplest way of putting it is we really streamline the ERP, or leverage the ERP to streamline the EDI processes, and that's what I'll show you here today. And kind of like Helene said, we're very flexible, especially depending on your 3PL's capabilities and also the requirements of your customers. So this can be done with customers, your customers that are for EDI orders, or also non-EDI. We have a lot of our customer bases are using this both for their EDI customers and non-EDI, because we all know there's business outside of EDI, with the smaller shops that do not require you to do that. But what I'm going to show you here is definitely related to both non-EDI and EDI orders. And so real quickly is to give you an idea of bringing in the order. There's really 3 stages within Mapadoc, and it's all done within the Mapadoc interface. There's no separate interface that you need to go to pull down your POs and bring them in, and then send out your 940s and walk through when your customer sends you back to your 3PL sends you back to 945. Either creating an invoice and ASN. We'll go through 2 routes. One is, with the customers that don't require you to do the ASN, what that 945 coming back from your 3PL, or that shipping notification from your 3PL, what that will look like in Mapadoc. And then in the instances, if your customer, the end customer who's receiving the order, if they require the ASN, what that looks like within Mapadoc and how that will relate to you and your teams. And so the first step is actually receiving that order let's say from an EDI customer, Bed Bath & Beyond. We're going to use them as an example today. The first step within Mapadoc is actually receiving your orders. Okay, we bring down the orders, we receive them, and actually bring them into Mapadoc. And you can see here there's 3 steps: receive, and the next step is then validate. And what I mean by validate is actually think of it as creating a sales order without creating a sales order. We're validating all the item information, ship to information that your customers are sending you. So for example, if your customer is sending you an item code that you don't have set up in inventory maintenance as of yet, or they're sending a UPC code that you don't have set up in the cross-reference within Mapadoc as of yet, we're going to catch that up front, and so we don't have any issues with you sending orders down to your 3PL. And then also, just as important, if not more important, because you've heard Helene touch on it earlier, when you're sending back that correlating ASN. And we want to make sure that we catch everything up front to avoid issues at the back end where the real exposure can come into play with your customers. Okay, and then finally, creating the orders. And now this can all be done through automation. So not only is Mapadoc fully integrated, but a lot of our customers have this set up so they don't have to click a button when they receive their orders. They'll receive an email notification or an alert saying, you have POs out there for customer Bed Bath & Beyond. And in this case, we had 5 POs. In that case, through automation, Mapadoc is actually able to bring that all the way through without you clicking a button and provide you reporting based on what was processed and what was created in sales order entry. Okay, so the final step is create orders, and that's when we're actually creating orders in the sales order entry module, in sales order entry. And so the first report is when we actually create the orders. It's a report that really, it breaks it down by customer. and it shows you the PO numbers and also the sales order numbers as well. So it really gives you just a quick snapshot of what was processed and any sort of item price mismatches as well. And then also we provide you another report from a high level that shows you what was processed in that batch, more from basically from a total units and total dollar amount standpoint. Okay, well, once this pops up here, I'll show you what that looks like. And then we'll get into actually going through your sales order and then sending out your 940 and your 940 from the MapAdoc solution. So as you can see here, again, this is just a quick snapshot of what was just processed. We had 5 orders for customer ABF and total units and total dollar amount. Okay, and now I'm actually going to bring up one of the orders in sales order entry, because sending out the 940 is not, like I said before, it's not just for EDI customers. You're able to leverage this for shipments that are for non-EDI customers as well. So orders that you're getting via fax or email or phone, it doesn't matter. What we really base off sending out the 940 is, and I'm actually going to pull up one of the orders that we just created. It's all based off the warehouse code. Okay. And so warehouse code both at the header information, as you can see here, then also lines as well. So if you have a lot of our customers have different items at different warehouses, and so they have the ability to send out just the items on this order that are for warehouse 001. Okay, so if you have another warehouse, you can come here and apply that, or another warehouse for a particular item, you can apply that. So when you send out that 940, it's not going to send out items that they're not actually shipping out. Okay. So as you can see here, this is your standard sales order, so it's in sales order entry. You're actually, at this point in time, this is where the 940 is actually going to be sent, or when it's actually going to be sent. So when the order is in sales order entry, and after you reviewed it, make sure everything looks great, the ship date, the shipping information as well, because that order is coming into your system, and you're going to actually send that order out. Okay. Now, actually sending out the 940 is a very simple process. I'm going to actually come into MapAdoc here, and under my send menu, I'll have select EDI 940 warehouse order shipments. Okay, and here we give you the ability to send out multiple 940s at once or multiple sales order at once on 940s. Okay, so you don't need to go in one by one to actually send out your 940 documents. That would get, if you have 100 of those a day, that would not be very fun. So we give you a couple different criteria to actually send out your 940s. One is off the warehouse code, and then also off sales order. So if there's any, based off of any open sales order and sales order entry that has not had a 940 sent already for it, you can come into here and send out based off the warehouse code. So once, to kind of give you a little more information on that, when we actually send out the 940s, we flag it in sales order entry as well. So I can come into here and select my warehouse code if I'd like and pull up East Warehouse, and then click Proceed. And then what that will do is that will send out any sales order in the system that's open in sales order entry that has not had a 940 sent for it as of yet, because we flag it for you. But again, you always have the ability to resend it if necessary. It's very, very simple. But we probably the favorite among our customers, and probably the most visibility into what 940s have not been sent for open sales orders, is we have a button down here called Multiple Orders. And this is going to show you any order that's open in sales order entry that you have not sent a 940 as of yet. So as you can see here, we have a lot of different orders. I'm going to come down here, and here are my 5 orders that I processed a minute ago. Okay, so as you can see here, they're open orders that I have not sent a 940 as of yet. I'll click Select here. So it'll ask me, are you sure you are, just one more confirmation saying, are you sure you want to send out these via EDI? I'll click Yes. And it just told me I had 5 sales orders selected. So I'm going to exit out of here. And MapAdoc will recognize that I've actually selected the 940, so it's going to run me through the steps. So here at this point, I'm actually just going to be transmitting the 940s out of the system. And those 940s go directly down to your 3PL. So I'll click Proceed here. At that point in time, those 5 sales orders were sent out as 5 940s out of MapAdoc in the format that your 3PL is expecting. So we're going to be sending any information that you want off the sales order, so the ship date, the item codes, obviously, the quantity, anything off the sales order that you need sent on that 940, we have the ability of sending. Now here, this is just a report of what was sent. So it will show you the sales order number, and then 5 different orders. So as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so just some visibility to actually what was sent out of the system. And here's, we actually provide another report as well to give you the dollar amount, but if you're not using these reports can be easily shut off. So that, in regards to processing the 940, it's very, very simple. It's all based off the sales order, and you have the ability of sending out multiple 940s at once with ease. Now, this is where we're going to actually walk into the 945 process. So the 940 was sent out of the Mapadoc solution, and then now sent down to your 3PL in the format that they needed in, or they expected in, or they required in, depending on if they have EDI requirements, that they can use to actually fulfill the order. So on their end, they're going to be pick, packing, and shipping. So if your customers require the UCC 128 labels, they'll be slapping those on the boxes, so they'll be creating those carton IDs, and then they'll ship out the order. And then before they actually ship out the order and it's ready to ship, from a best practice standpoint, they'll send you back what they call a 945. And that's just the reverse document of you sending them a 940. They're going to be sending you back a 945. That's going to tell you, really, it's more of a shipping notification than anything else. What was shipped, any tracking information, the quantity that was shipped, the ship date, the carrier that was used, and then also going back to the UCC 128 labels, those carton IDs. Because if you're doing EDI today and you're required to do carton, UCC 128 labels, those carton IDs are very, very important. And so they're going to be sending back those carton IDs so you can apply that to the ASN. Now, if your customer is not doing, we'll start off with the 945s for your customers that don't require an ASN. So whether that's a non-EDI customer or an EDI customer that doesn't require an ASN, when that 945 comes back in, similar to just the PO, Mapadoc, you'll receive an email notification or an alert of some kind saying, hey, you have shipping notifications or 945s from your 3PL. And at that point in time, you can come into Mapadoc and then click Receive Inbound EDI here. And what that will do is that's going to run you through, bring down the 945s, okay? And then actually, from an EDI, from a non-EDI or an EDI standpoint that don't require the ASN, what Mapadoc is going to do is we're going to bring in those 945s and actually directly create invoices in your system. Okay, so you can apply it to a new batch to the process or an existing batch that I already have in here to show you the 5 invoices that would be created. So here it will pull up my invoices for me. It will have my invoice date, the shipping location, and then any sort of also tracking as well. So if your customer is sending you tracking, any sort of lot information as well. If you're a 3PL with the ability to send lot information, we have the ability to link that to the invoice as well. So from a pure non-EDI standpoint, it's very straightforward. They send back the 945, and then there's no need for you to send out a shipping notification or an ASN from an EDI standpoint. So what Mapadoc will do is we'll actually create the invoice in invoice data entry for you based off that 945 your warehouse sent back to you. Now with customers, EDI customers that require you to do the ASN, we handle a little bit differently because the process is differently, but it's very, very straightforward because the 945 that your customer is sending you is going to have, from a best practice standpoint, all the required information that's tracking, carton ID that you're going to need to send back to your customer on the ASN. Because again, Helene touched on it earlier. It's through all the years that we've been doing this, we've best practice. It's best for the customer, in your case you, to send out the ASN from your system because that's where the business relationship lies with your customer, with the Bed Bath & Beyonds of the world. You have the 3PLs fulfilling the order and sending and shipping out the order, but that EDI communication, that EDI business relationship is between you and the customer. So this gives you complete control of actually you sending out the ASN. From that standpoint, when the 945 comes in, it's actually going to automatically create a ASN in Mapadoc ASN module automatically for you. And you can when you bring in that 945, it's going to bring it in directly into ASN selection. So a lot of our customers, when they receive the 945, they actually don't even come in here. They're actually just going to transmit the 940 or the ASN directly out of Mapadoc. But I wanted to show you what we are actually bringing down. Okay, so as you can see here, I'll bring down the carrier, their tracking number being sent, SCAT code. Also how it's packed. Again, that's just as important as anything else on the ASN document. How is it packed? So your 3PL will break down how it's packed based on the cartons, and we'll we'll store that information in a Mapadoc so you can send it back out in the ASN so your customer, the Bed Bath & Beyonds of the world, receive it in the way that they're expecting it. Okay, so I just wanted to come in here and show you what the ASN actually looks like. You'll see some fields here that are bolded in red. That means they're actually required by their trading partner, so the Bed Bath & Beyond. But these vary based on who the trading partner is for, and it just gives you a little visibility into actually what your customers are requiring of you. But going back to actually creating the ASN, so when that 945 comes back in for a customer that requires the ASN, Mapadoc will automatically create the ASN in Mapadoc, the Mapadoc ASN creation module, and all you need to do is come in to create outbound ASNs. And they're sitting in there for you already. So you can see here we have, if you're receiving 945s from multiple trading partners that require that require the ASN, you have the ability to create, the 945s will come in all at once, regardless if it's for multiple trading partners, and then you'll create multiple ASNs at once for you. So then you have the ability to parse it out by customer, or you can send out all trading partners at once, okay? And then when I click proceed here, that's actually transmitting the ASN similar to the 940 document that I showed you earlier. It's actually going to send out the ASNs in the format that the Bed Bath & Beyonds of the world require. Everyone has different requirements, and this, we strive to meet those requirements. And when you're sending out this ASN, it meets the Bed Bath & Beyond's requirements based on what your 3PL sent you. Okay. So at this point in time, we'll provide you another report as well of what was sent. We provide extensive reporting to give you visibility to actually what was sent and what was received. So you can see here we had BBB and then the different ASNs for those orders that we received 945s for. So I'm going to come into here, clear my exception report, and now for customers that require the ASN, we have the full capability of creating invoices and invoice data entry off of the ASNs that were sent. So the 945s will come in and create the ASNs, you send out the ASNs, and the Mapadoc has the full ability to create invoices and invoice data entry for you, so you don't need to do that manually. And again, if you're using batch processing, you can come into here, select a new batch, or I can come into here and then pull up my existing batch that I had in here earlier, and then click accept and proceed. And what that is going to do is that's actually going to create my invoices in invoice data entry. So if I come back into invoice data entry, I can pull in my batch, and they will be sitting in there, so those invoices as well, with the quantities that were shipped by the 3PL, with all the tracking information, with the carrier information. It's all going to be all the way related to the invoice, so if you ever need to send that out in the invoice as well, it's available for you to send out. Now, to close off the process in regards to the typical EDI process with bringing in a PO, sending out your 940, 945 coming back in, the end of the day is sending out your invoice for your EDI customers. And now sending out, if you're not familiar with Mapadoc, we send out it's a very simple process with sending out your invoices via EDI. I'm going to come up to Mapadoc to show you visually of what it looks like. It's a two-stage process, and I would say 75% of our customers don't have to click a button. We have the full capability of leveraging your Sage processes today, so you don't need to do any additional processes from a Mapadoc or EDI standpoint to send out your invoices via EDI. And what I mean by that is when you have your invoices in invoice data entry, and at the time that you post, so if you're posting in the morning, if you're posting in the afternoon, if you're posting multiple times a day, if you're posting EDI or non-EDI invoice, it doesn't matter. At the time that you post, Mapadoc looks into those invoices, recognize which ones are for EDI purposes or for customers that require VDI, select those out, and then automatically send those on your behalf without you clicking a button. So there's no intervention. And then if you need reporting, we can either link those reports directly to Paperless Office if you're using Paperless Office today, or we can have those reports printed directly to a printer on site, so you have some visibility into actually what was sent. But if you ever need to resend an invoice, it's very simple. You can come in to select invoices from history, and any invoice in history that's for an EDI customer or EDI trading partner, you have the ability to come into here and then pull up the invoice number range, or invoice date, or use multiple different selection criteria to actually send out that invoice. Okay. So that's what I really wanted to show you guys here today. You know, kind of the typical flow of, you know, bringing it all the way through, not just with your 3PL, but bringing it all the way through. So you can see how that 3PL EDI relationship really comes into play with your customer's EDI relationship. So with that, I think I'll turn it back over to Helene and Adrian to open it up for any questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill, so much for that, and Helene. We do have a question. It looks like I would like to launch a poll for the audience at this time while we're reading off the question, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Are you interested in learning more about Mapadoc? And I should have capitalized Mapadoc. That's the trademark. But if the audience could just take a moment to answer that question, that would be great. And it looks like we have a question here, Helene and Bill. Looking at these screens, it appears that Mapadoc is nested within Sage 100 when it's running, like that he's in the Mapadoc folder within a Sage 100 system. Is there a standalone Mapadoc program, or does it just act as an add-on within your Sage ERP?
It acts within an add-on within your Sage ERP. That's what makes our product so you know, popular, is that, you know, we have the same look and feel as your Sage product. You're not having to go and get outside of your Sage solution, you know, to run a separate solution for your EDI. It has the same look and feel, so the training time is cut down a little bit because you're looking at the same similar screens. We're written in the same, you know, profile language, and that's what makes us kind of over the competitor, is that you're not having to go outside of the Sage product, and it sits within our Sage product like an add-on module.
And so if you're creating maps, every time, whenever you go and you purchase an EDI system, just, you know, one of the EDI systems on the market, do you have to create these maps manually? So the Mapadoc system really takes that burden away, right?
Well, there's when you're mapping to different trading partners.
Yeah, so like in an ERP, like let's say, you know, you're on Sage 100 and you go and you purchase an EDI system, the Mapadoc system maps between Sage 100 and the EDI solution, correct?
Well, you still have some setup to do. Each trading partner has its own, as Bill had said, each trading partner has its own nuances. For example, when you are purchasing your Mapadoc product, you're purchasing the documents once. So I'm just going to say for standard, you know, let's say we're dealing with 5 trading partners: Walmart, Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Ace Hardware, and Home Depot. And each one of those uses a purchase order, an advance ship notice, which is the ASN. You've got, let's say they're using the warehouse documents, so you're looking at the 940, the 945, and the invoice, the 810. So you're only purchasing those documents once, and then it's the services to map to each one of those trading partners is how we scope out our project. And because each trading partner utilizes those same documents, but each one of those trading partners has their own different nuance. So the trading partner, or the actual setup for Target, is totally different than what Bed Bath & Beyond would require. So that's where our expertise comes into play, is that we can use the same mappings and we just tweak it a little bit to what the other trading partner is needing.
And it's specific to the Sage ERP systems too, so you have so much experience with the Sage ERP systems with Mapadoc that it alleviates that time, you know, that you'd have to go and recreating all of that, right?
That is correct. I mean, the beauty about our team that I have behind me is we're, you know, not alone just, you know, we're not just experts in EDI, but we understand the Sage solution as well. So when, you know, and we work with a lot of different resellers out there, and that's what makes us a great partnership, is we have that relationship where when the EDI issues or if anything comes within the EDI solution, we're there to work with the partners, to teach them how to do that, or they just rely on us to do any of the issues that come at hand. But like I was saying, we're a reseller as well, so we understand the Sage side of the house as well as the EDI side of the house. And we're also, we have the same solutions for Sage 100, 500, and for X3.
And if you do have a question, I just remind you to go ahead and click on the question mark button next to your name on the webinar pane and indicate your question via text, or go ahead and click on that raise your hand button, and I will unmute your line and you can speak live. I don't see any further questions at this time. Helene, did you have a contact slide?
I just put it up.
Okay, let me hide this poll. It looks like 60% are interested in learning more, and I will make you the presenter so we can see your slide.
There you go.
Perfect. So if anyone has any questions, please give Helene a call. And thank you so much for joining us today. I did record this webinar, and I will be sending an email out to everyone, a follow-up email with the recording and with Helene's contact information. And thanks again, everybody. Helene, did you want to close, or Bill, did you want to close out with anything further?
I just want to say thank you for giving us time today to let us show you our solution. There's a lot more to MAPADOC, with just working with the retailers. We also do work on the vendor side of the house. We also do a lot of things in the automotive industry as well. So I am more than happy to have those discussions with everybody or anyone who is interested. So thank you again today.
It looks like we do have some more questions. Helene, if you can hang in there for just
Sure.
a minute. Let me pull up these questions. To go to my other computer real quick. Just generally, who is the audience for this software? Thank you, Paula. So it sounds to me, Helene, like the audience would be Sage ERP customers, correct? That need to do EDI?
That is correct.
So whether you're on 100, 500, or X3, do you guys have an interface for 300, Sage 300, formerly ACPAC?
No, we don't.
Okay. So those three Sage ERP systems, Paula, would be the answer to that question. And I don't see any other questions. So thank you, everybody, again, and I will send you that follow-up email, so go ahead and respond to me if you have any questions, or go ahead and give Helene a call. Her contact information will be on that follow-up email. Thank you, Helene and Bill, for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.